CSS Naming Conventions. CSS naming conventions refer to a set of rules or guidelines that developers follow to name CSS classes, IDs, and other selectors in a way that makes the code more organized, readable, and maintainable. Here are some commonly used CSS naming conventions. 1. BEM, Block Element Modifier. This convention involves breaking down the user interface into small, reusable blocks, e.g., header, footer, sidebar, and naming the elements inside those blocks with a specific naming convention, such as block__element, modifier. 1. For example, a button inside a header block would be named header__button. 2. SMA CSS, Scalable and Modular Architecture for CSS. This convention divides CSS into 5 categories: base, layout, module, state, and theme. 2. Each category has its own naming convention, such as using prefixes like layout for layout classes and is active for state classes. 3. Atomic CSS. This convention involves creating small, single-purpose classes that can be combined to create more complex styles. 3. For example, instead of having a button class, you might have classes like font size small, background color red, and padding horizontal 10 that can be combined to create a button style. 4. OOCSS, Object-Oriented CSS. This convention involves creating reusable objects or components that can be styled independently of their context. 4. For example, a button object might have its own set of styles that can be applied to it no matter where it appears on the page. Regardless of which convention you choose to follow, the key is to be consistent and keep the code organized and maintainable over time. CSS Animation Libraries. Animate.css, Greensick. CSS animation libraries are collections of pre-built CSS code that can be used to create animations on a website. These libraries can save time and effort for web designers and developers, as they provide a wide range of animations that can be easily implemented on a website. 2 popular CSS animation libraries are: 1. Animate.css. Animate.css is a popular CSS animation library that provides over 70 different animations that can be applied to various elements on a website. 1. These animations include effects such as bounce, fade, rotate, slide, and zoom. 1. Animate.css is easy to use and can be added to a website by simply including the library's CSS file in the HTML document. 2. Greensock, GSAP. Greensock is a high-performance animation library that provides advanced animations that can be used for more complex and sophisticated websites. 2. It provides a wide range of features such as motion path animation, responsive animation, and timeline control. 2. While it requires a bit more learning curve than Animate.css, Greensock is well documented and provides great performance for animations. Both Animate.css and Greensick are popular choices for CSS animation libraries, and the choice between the two will largely depend on the complexity and requirements of your animation needs. CSS and JavaScript integration. React, Angular, Vue. CSS and JavaScript are 2 crucial technologies for building modern web applications, and integrating them is an essential part of creating dynamic and responsive user interfaces. In the context of React, Angular, or Vue, there are several ways to integrate CSS and JavaScript. React. React is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces, and it provides several ways to style your components. One popular method is to use CSS in JS libraries, such as styled components or Emotion, which allow you to write CSS code directly in your JavaScript files. Another option is to use traditional CSS files and import them into your components using the import statement. To integrate JavaScript into your React components, you can use the built-in JSX syntax to embed JavaScript expressions directly into your HTML-like code. Additionally, you can import JavaScript modules and use them to manipulate the state of your components or handle user interactions. Angular. Angular is a framework for building web applications, and it has its own templating and styling syntax. To style your Angular components, you can use the built-in nestle and glass directives, which allow you to apply CSS styles conditionally based on component properties or events. To integrate JavaScript into your Angular components, you can use the Angular CLI to generate a new component and then write your JavaScript code in the component's TypeScript file. You can also import external JavaScript libraries and use them in your components by declaring them in the component's module file. Vue. Vue is a progressive JavaScript framework for building user interfaces, and it provides several ways to style your components. You can use inline styles, CSS classes, or CSS modules to apply styles to your components. To integrate JavaScript into your Vue components, you can use the built-in v-on directive to bind event handlers to user interactions, or you can use computed properties and methods to manipulate the state of your components. You can also import external JavaScript libraries and use them in your components by declaring them in the component script section. In summary, integrating CSS and JavaScript into React, Angular, or Vue applications is essential for creating dynamic and responsive user interfaces. Each framework provides its own syntax and conventions for styling and scripting, so it's essential to familiarize yourself with the specific tools and techniques used in each framework. CSS for print. CSS for print refers to the CSS rules used to format content for printed documents, such as PDFs, reports, and other types of print media. Here are some of the key considerations when writing CSS for print. 1. Layout. Adjust the layout of the printed document to make sure that the content fits properly on the page. 1. This may involve adjusting the width of the content, reducing the amount of whitespace, and avoiding page breaks in the middle of paragraphs or headings. By using these techniques, you can create a print-friendly version of your website or document that is optimized for printing. CSS for accessibility. CSS, cascading style sheets, can be used to improve the accessibility of a website in several ways. Here are some CSS techniques that can help improve accessibility. 1. Contrast. CSS can be used to increase the contrast between text and its background, making it easier to read for people with low vision or color blindness. 1. For example, you can use a high contrast color scheme for text and background, or add a text shadow to make the text stand out. 2. Font size and type. CSS can be used to adjust the font size and type, which can help people with low vision or reading difficulties. 2. You can provide options for users to increase or decrease the font size using CSS, and choose a font that is easy to read. 3. Focus indicators. CSS can be used to add focus indicators to links and form elements, making it easier for people with mobility impairments to navigate the website using a keyboard. 3. You can use CSS to change the appearance of the focus indicator, such as a border or a background color. 4. Skip navigation links. CSS can be used to hide skip navigation links until they are focused, making it easier for screen reader users to navigate the website. 4. You can use the focus pseudo class in CSS to show the skip navigation link when it receives focus. 5. Layout and structure. CSS can be used to create a clear and consistent layout and structure for the website, which can help people with cognitive disabilities. 5. You can use CSS to organize the content into sections, use headings and lists to create a hierarchy, and use consistent styles for different elements. 6. Responsive design. CSS can be used to create a responsive design that adapts to different screen sizes and devices, making it easier for people with visual impairments or motor disabilities to access the website on different devices. 6. You can use media queries in CSS to adjust the layout and font size based on the screen size. Overall, using CSS to improve accessibility can help make a website more inclusive and user-friendly for all users, regardless of their abilities or disabilities.